Mish!
Yeah, today we're bringing back Old School by painting the original Plague Marine. Over the course of Old School, I plan on painting the original 4 Chaos Marines. Yes, there were Chaos Renegades before these guys, but undoubtedly these 4 set the standard for what we could expect for the next 30 years of miniatures and design philosophy for the Chaos Gods. In the debut episode, we ended up painting the Slaaneshi Marine, and this time around, well, obviously we're painting the Nurgle guy. Like with the previous episodes, I plan on going over the lore of the actual miniature itself, and I'll show you how I paint it. But before we get into that, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, share it with a friend, and if you really dig it, consider becoming a channel member. For just $3 a month, you get to see my videos early, and for $5, you get access to a weekly Q&A, in which you can send in your miniatures and I'll give a little look at them and showcase them. Additionally, you get access to exclusive roles and channels within the Mishmash Discord, and it just generally really helps me out. Just want to say a huge thank you to my channel members. You guys are amazing. And if you want to help me out further, you can use my affiliate link down below to Wargames Atlantic if you're interested in anything they have, like Quar, and you can also plug my discount code MISHMASH5% to save 5% off your purchase. But that's enough of the promotional stuff, let's talk about this mini. Barcode number 070378/2, Jess Goodwin's 1990 Death Guard Nurgle Space Marine is one of my favorite models in 40k history. What is there not to love about this mini? This is a perfect example of what a Chaos Space Marine corrupted by the rot of Nurgle should look like. The bulbous design, the split cracked armor, and just generally going with a design philosophy that really does showcase an Astartes with lesser gear and armor. Hell, the bolt gun has a wood casing. Also this mysterious flintlock-like sidearm, which I'm really curious to see what the rest of it looks like. But like with his 3 brothers, this model was designed and created by Jess Goodwin. Now I think most veteran 40k players and modelers know of Jess Goodwin, but if you're not familiar, this guy is responsible for some of the greatest designs in 40k history. And we have him to thank for these original 4 models. Not to repeat myself too much, but these 4 models are what really set the standard for the 4 main Chaos Gods. Well, mostly. Tentacles have nothing to do with rot. But back on the singular model, this model was released in 1991 under a specific blister, this being a 2-pack blister much like the other 3. Now I am confident the one that I've picked up is most definitely a recast, as the metal quality of this model is way too clean to be an original. And the backpack was not the original fleshy backpack that most Chaos Renegades came with at the time. This is definitely the 90s version of the Plague Marines. This being the Nurgle Space Marine box set. I actually managed to get my mitts on a ton of these guys too, so if you like the video, make sure you leave a like so I can do a sequel on it. But more on the topic of the model of the day, I am painting this guy in a 30k Death Guard scheme. Or the Pallid Hand, yes, I know they exist. Sorry, just bias. Every time I mention I want to paint Death Guard in 30k, somebody has to say Pallid Hand exists.
I know they exist.
But sprigging out at my friends aside, I think it's about time we actually get to painting at the figure. Well, to start out the model, I decided to do something unconventional in terms of my traditional painting style. Rather than doing a traditional Zenithal Prime, I decided to dry brush on wetly using some dark green brown from Puracryl. And this would just be over the typical dark Panzer Gray that I use from Vallejo to prime my models. It was a tedious task, but it was kind of fun to do. I didn't want to go too overboard, but since this is technically the base coat to the model, I could be a little bit more free with how splotchy I went with this dry brush. However, once I was done with the dark green brown, I would move on to a mixture of dark ivory and khaki from Puracryl. As you can see, I am using a much smaller dry brush this time around to really focus this color onto broad surfaces without getting into the nooks and crannies. Also do want to mention the dry brushes I'm using come from Chronicle cards, this being the Teclon Tiger dry brush set. I got sent a free sample from Chronicle, so I figure I mentioned it in this video. I'll do a much more in-depth review on them later on though. But without doing any more promotional stuff, as you can see, I'm really doing my best to sponge this on to really create that classic Death Guard pale. And doing this pseudo-stippling / dry brushing method really gives the character of a worn and torn armor set. Now for the more boring details, by comparison, I'm painting all the metallics using some mahogany and warm brown, as well as some black, but I do think that painting with warmer browns to undercoat metallics just kinda sets you up better for painting worn metallics. Now onto the pauldrons. Initially, I painted these using some Militarum green, utilizing the dry brush I had previously, but I wasn't a huge fan of how this looked, so I mixed some camo green and yellow green to create that kind of classic olive green that Death Guard typically have. I really like this color. It does look a little bright now, but it will be toned down later on when we shade the model. At some points, I would actually use a mixture of some black with the camo green just to create some more in-depth shading. The molding of the model itself really does make some of these areas hard to shade, so using a direct shade using a mixture really does create more depth, along with allowing me to kind of create more depth in the divots. The biggest part about painting old models is they're not perfect, and that comes up quite a bit in this video. But it's just about making lemonade out of lemons. There's only so much you can do, so do what you can. Now for the metallics, I'm painting everything using some dark silver. You'll also notice here that I undercoated the eye lenses using some orange flare and yellow. This was an experiment that went kinda wrong, so you can either choose to do that, or you can follow my weird steps in painting the lenses later on. However, on a brighter note, the metallics worked out pretty well, and as you can see from that warmer undercoat, it already looks a little bit more worn and torn if I just painted over a black undercoat. Now for all the metallics of the gold trim, I'm using some bronze. I'm also utilizing this on the top of the power pack, as this huge canister is just begging for some cool weathering effects. Oxidization on copper is one of my favorite things to do, so this is going to be fun later on. But back to the broader portions of the armor, I then decided to paint on some chips, and to do this I'm using some dryad bark. I also utilized a sponge to make some more speckled patterns, but it's also fun to create more detailed scratches like how we did with the shading earlier on with our detail brush. Now to shade the model, this is a weird mixture. I actually took some Gilliman flesh and some contrast medium, and just a little bit of kind of thick Parasite Brown from Vallejo Game Color. I found that Parasite Brown is one of the best colors you can use to create cool rusty effects, and part of this is making it so it's actually a little bit of a thicker consistency as it dries in almost a rusty-like pattern. Utilizing this, we can really shade in the metallics to create some very, very cool color depth, while also really tying in the rest of the model together. As you can see, I'm shading it over all the pale colors along with the silver metallics. I'd also kind of utilize this into the recesses of some of the gold, however, we'll go more into detail on that later. Now, here is where my little experiment kind of fell apart, and almost in retrospect, I kind of like this better. But I ended up using some Blood Angels Red to create kind of a cool flared lens. Unfortunately, the biggest part that I had with this model that did not work well is that the eyes were a little malformed. It's kind of hard to tell on camera, but the eyes were almost formed in a DreamWorks smirk-esque fashion. One was a little bit bigger than the other. So I didn't like how this looked, and I would eventually paint over this using some Dragon Red. And I would kind of highlight it up using a little bit of Wazdaka Red. This was a weird process. I will admit, the eye lenses are my least favorite part of this miniature by far, in terms of my final product, but it didn't turn out terrible, so don't leave. Please don't leave. Now, once the eyes were kinda repainted, I then decided to add on some decals in the form of the old vintage Chaos kit, just the classic Death Guard symbol, this being the 3 skulls and the 3 skulls. I would also speckle on paint over the symbol, but after I was happy with the application, I would begin highlighting using a mixture of khaki and some dark ivory. This is where we can really put our chips to good use along with highlighting up the model on the raised surfaces. The chips really do create a lot more depth in the figure itself, and it makes them feel a lot more alive. I really like doing this because it also kind of gives me the opportunity to paint in a much more comically stylized style of painting. I like creating very stark highlights to create a very comic booky-esque look. I don't know, something similar to Hellboy. And when I was done with those highlights, I would begin the process of weathering down the model. To do this, I'd begin by making a wash of dark turquoise and bold titanium white, and I would apply this over all the bronzy details. I mentioned this before in other videos, but I don't like using Nihilok oxide as much as controlling my own ratio of turquoise to white. Still a very good paint, however. I just find this a lot more satisfying as it does dry in a way that I like better too. It's a lot more subtle, and you can add more and more as you please. If you can't tell, I like weathering miniatures. It's a big reason why I love Death Guard so much. Normally I'd speed things up during the footage here, but man, you can't tell me this isn't satisfying. I just love the way it flows. But since we're here, how you doing? You enjoying these episodes? 'Cause I quite like doing it. Prior to getting into the channel, this is how I used to paint all the time. Used to be, I hated painting armies and squads, but over the last year, I've gained more interest in the hobby, so I guess overall this series is kind of a callback to my greater instincts. So it's kind of therapeutic in a way. Which is honestly why I got into miniature painting to begin with. Never in my life did I think that painting tiny figurines would center me more than just about any therapy I could possibly go to. Hell, usually whenever I'm recording these videos, if I'm not talking with friends, I'm usually just sitting in silence. I don't even really listen to music when I paint, which might sound weird, but I don't know. I enjoy it. But coming back to the highlighting of the miniature, I'm actually using some pure dark ivory to create some very, very stark highlights on the areas that we used previously. As you can see, I'm utilizing my streaky and scrapey method of highlighting, and I think it works best on Death Guard minis. I've done this before plenty for all sorts of Space Marines if you watch the channel, but again, it just works the best on Death Guard. Now for more weathering, we're doing basically the same thing we did with the bronze, except this time we're using some orange from Pro-Acryl mixed with a little bit of warm brown. This time we're focusing this on the silver metallics. And again, holy crap is this fun. Just the way that it creates something that looks so realistic is really, really satisfying. And I think that's something that a lot of painters that are more novice in the hobby can enjoy. You don't need to paint something photorealistically if you know how to utilize more silly effect paints. It can be really cool. It's satisfying, and it's really easy to go overboard with. But if you temper yourself just right, you'll create something really, really cool looking. I probably didn't need to add it to the gun, but man, made the gun stand out so much more just highlighting this into the recesses. And the way it dries isn't nearly as stark as how it looks now. And you can kind of go crazy with it, as this guy has so many areas that you can apply this to that it feels natural. I will mention too, I didn't get this on camera as well as I could have, but I really went hog wild with shading this into the inner tubing on the gut. This looks really cool once it dries. But coming back to the lens, this is where I decided to kind of tie things together to really reset things in a way that I'd like. See, I ended up actually using some orange flare on the bottom of the highlights, and I decided to tie things together and shade it using some Caribird Crimson. I kept going back and forth on what I wanted to do with the lens in terms of the overall color, whether it be a more cool red or a warm red. But in the end, a middle ground is kind of reached, but we'll get into that later. Here, I'm just doing some cleanup around some of the areas that got on a little speckled from some of the weathering. It's not 100% necessary if you're following this as more of a tutorial. I just wanted to add a little bit more definition to the armor panels where things weren't nearly as weathered. But as you can see, I'm coming back in with my weathering again, and like I said previously, I decided to use a lot more in the inner tubings on the belly. Now here, I kinda go all crazy with the weathering by adding a mixture of weathering powder, this being ochre yellow from Vallejo, along with their burnt umber pigment. I'm not using too much of it, this is more just a way of tying everything in the back of the model together, along with creating a little bit more interest on the base. And I will say, if you're interested in how I painted it, I actually did a short on it. Now, coming back to the lens, I decided to create even more color depth as there were some things that were malformed in the eye, like I stated previously, that really didn't allow for a nice transition. So, to kind of fix this, I used some Flesh Terror's red contrast, and I would pool it into the bottom of the lens. However, this is very difficult as it also stained the underside of the lens as well, so some cleanup was warranted. I will say, if it weren't for the weird malformation, I would have had a lot more fun painting the lens. But as one final little detail, I decided to highlight the bronze by using some bronze and a little bit of copper. This is just a little bit of speckling, as I do want to create something more on the highlights, but I also want to speckle it on to break up some of the deeper pools of oxidization. But with that final detail, I was left with one of my favorite models I've ever painted. God damn, I love Death Guard. Crazy to think that the last time I painted him was almost a year ago, and I basically begged you guys at the end to give me incentive to paint them, and I just never did it again. Well, I know it happened, Quar happened. I'm just happy to get back into painting them, because this model is something I've had my eyes on for a long time, and to finally get my mitts on it is really cool. I did have a lot of issues painting the lenses, but it wasn't nearly as bad as painting the checkers for the Tin Boy. But hey, if you enjoyed what you saw, it would mean a lot to me if you left a like, comment, and subscribed. I know kit bashing is my niche, but videos like this, along with the core stuff, are really my huge passion, so I would love to have more incentive to do more things like this. And hey, we still have the Khorne and the Tzeentch Renegade to paint, so stick around, we're gonna finish this series out. But I've definitely been flapping my beak enough for one video. So like always, remember to mishmash, kit bash, and paint some fantastic miniatures. And you're gonna. I promise. See ya.